Thank you. Could you please tell me, did you, as part of this funding allocation, that includes the total amount, nearly $300 million, did you fund any organisation currently under investigation or who have not complied with governance reporting obligations as per the Commonwealth's agreement on that funding?
Sorry, Senator, who?
I think so. Senator, I'm assuming probably what you're asking is probably the $300 million, the close to $300 million for the Central Australia. Is that the $300 million you're referring
That's right.
to?
Okay, this is the new chance, a new section of money. I'm asking, you've had just over 12 months to make, or less than 12 months to make decisions on that amount of money. Did you fund any organisations currently or under investigation for governance issues, or have not complied with their reporting obligations as per their agreements?
I'm not aware. Oh, sorry.
We've got somebody coming up here.
Yes, I'll refer this query to a colleague.
Peter Nunn, Program Compliance and Fraud Branch. Sorry, Senator, I was just sort of... Can you
repeat it a third
ask
time?
a question,
Okay.
please? Sorry.
So it doesn't go so much to fraud, right? It is, did you fund any organisation that is currently under investigation for governance issues or who has not complied with their obligations with regard for reporting obligations that relate to accountability and governance? Because you haven't given us a list of who, so I just want to, did you fund any organisation? Can you assure me that you didn't?
For the current financial year,
No? That allocation of money, that's what we're talking about now.
Perhaps in answering that question...
Is that for the $300 million or the totality of the...
Well, you can give me $300 million and then you can give me the totality. I don't care, I just want to understand what your assessment is when you give out funding about people's compliance with their reporting obligations.
So, Senator, I think you're actually asking about the process that we go through in approvals for grants, and I'll get my colleagues to elaborate on this, but obviously, yes, we do conduct every year annual assessments of grantees. As part of a process where we look at a contract variation, we would be looking at whether, in fact, there were any compliance issues associated with that service provider. So those things are flagged in our system for the decision maker, the delegate, to look at as part of the process, and obviously they would put in place mitigations if in fact there were issues identified with compliance.
So where I'm going to here is you're talking about an annual assessment, which means money out the door before, and you need a complaint in order to act on that. I'm asking a question about process. I don't want to... You can provide me with what your process is. I think you've done that previously. I want to know, did you, with any of this funding, provide funding to organisations that are currently under investigation or who have not complied with their reporting obligations? And if I need to give an example, did you fund organisations that haven't provided an annual report over a number of years?
So I think it's probably...
It's a simple question, yes or no.
It seems to cover a number of areas, and you've got, you range, or your question ranges from, serious investigation to governance issues. I can think of plenty of organisations that have governance issues that the government engages with to ensure that they're meeting their obligations. So I think it's probably best, if I could finish, I think it's probably best if we take that on notice for the number of organisations that would be involved. I think it's probably
It's a very specific question, Minister.
It is specific, but your question is quite broad. It's going from compliance investigations to governance issues and presumably everything in between. I think it's appropriate that, unless officers have that information
for
at
the
hand.
$300 million, I'm not aware of any that we've funded any organisation that's under investigation in particular, Senator.
Can you check that? And
we're happy to go and double check that. I know
have they met
absolutely
their reporting obligations?
Yeah, we're happy to go and say. I mean, not that I'm aware of, but I'm happy to go and But it's not. There's also, just to be clear, under the $250 million, not all of that money is in the National Indigenous Australians Agency. In fact, probably the majority of it is with other agencies. So we can probably check our part.
You can.
But of course, there are other agencies that I'm not sure that we can speak on behalf of here. Because, for example, the $50 million is with the Infrastructure Department. the 40 million is with the Education Department for schools.
That's okay. We can ask that when we know who those organisations actually, or who those agencies actually are, but at the moment we don't.
Yep.
Senator, as well, I think it's an important thing to note that annual reports are not required as a standard part of the reporting packages under our funding agreements. We have more comprehensive reporting requirements. There are performance reports, financial acquittals, compliance declarations and so on required. So it's hence the question of annual reports and so on is perhaps not in line with what we're